Welcome back to another rapid review with the Gifted Academics team. Today we are talking CISSN. As is always the case, if you are currently prepping for the CISSN and you stumbled across this video and you want to see more about the Gifted Academics resources, what we offer, our practice exams, our instructors, our one-on-one sessions, our self-led options, please click the links down in the description to this video to learn more. That's enough ad read. Let's get into the actual video. Get into the material. Today, we're going to be talking DEXA scans. Very popular. Entire businesses have popped up around DEXA scans. DEXA Fit is a company you may have heard of. These companies are buying DEXA scan machines, bringing you in, scanning you, and then giving you guidance based on that. Could be good, could be bad. It's important for you, the sports nutrition practitioner, to understand what we are actually measuring here. So, scary name. Dual energy, X-ray, absorptiometry, no wonder everyone calls it a DEXA. So the premise on which the DEXA works, so you lay down, if you've seen a DEXA before, you know, lay down, get scanned by the beams, it spits out a piece of paper, tells you what percent body fat you are, what percent lean body mass you are, and it even shows you, so this is a three-compartment model. It even shows you bone mineral density. So it was originally designed for postmenopausal women as a way to measure bone mineral density as an early scanning tool for osteopenia and osteoporosis. Just so turns out that it does a good job of measuring fat-free mass and fat mass as well. So that three-compartment model, a question that you will 100% see on the exam, the three compartments measured by a DEXA are as follows: bone mineral content, bone-free, fat-free mass, and fat mass. So when you go to a DEXA Fit, a lot of people who are going there aren't worried about the bone mineral content, but by separating that out, you can get a more accurate measure of your true fat-free mass. Your fat-free mass in this example, because we're ruling out bone, is now going to be limited to water, nutrients within the muscle, glucose, glycogen kind of situation, muscle mass itself, and organ mass. So the principle on which DEXA works is it breaks it down between bones and soft tissue. When you have that soft tissue component, it is then breaking that into two further components, which would be fat-free mass and fat mass. With any body composition analysis tool, we want to know a certain figure, and that is what is called the SEE, or the standard estimate of error. A lot of people call DEXA the gold standard of body composition because the SEE is so low. It's 2.5 to 3.5%. Whereas something like bioelectrical impedance, the handheld bioelectrical impedance, or even the multiple electrodes over your entire body, standard estimate of error can be as high as, and sometimes even higher than 10%. So what does this standard estimate of error actually mean? You lay down on a DEXA scan. You get scanned, it tells you you're 12% body fat. That standard estimate of error will take the high end of that and say 3.5 means that you could be, if you're 12, up to 15.5 or as low as 8.5. So it gives you that narrow range. Whereas if you were to use a BIA, bioelectrical impedance, and it tells you that you're that same number, 12%, but the standard estimate of error is 10%, you could be as high as 22, or you could be dead as low as 2%. So you can kind of rule out if you are on that lower end, you wouldn't obviously be 2%, but you can see the range there, a range of 20 percentage points where the value of that information is almost zero versus something like the DEXA or something like hydrostatic weighing, which is the true gold standard of body composition, where it's only, around 3%. So different machines will use different technologies. I don't know why the CISSN or the ISSN wants you to know this, but they certainly do. And you can expect, with a high likelihood, a question about the pencil beam technique versus the fan beam technique. Allegedly, the pencil beam is supposedly more accurate. The fan, it's exactly what you would think. A pencil beam is one single X-ray beam being sent down, where the fan, it more fans it out. So it captures a larger amount within that. So two different forms of the DEXA machinery in terms of the beams that are used in the scan that you're going to get. Accuracy, not a super important thing to remember there. All right, so what are the benefits of DEXA versus other models of body composition analysis? DEXA is purely passive, meaning that you lay down, it scans you, you stand up, you get your results. The only other method of body composition analysis that we know that can get close to as accurate as a DEXA scan, and sometimes more accurate, depending on the research that you're reading, would be something like a hydrostatic weighing tub. Hydrostatic weighing, however, if you know anything about it, is not passive whatsoever. You have to sit in a chair, you have to exhale all of your air. There needs to be, some spirometry testing where they're testing your breath, residual lung volume, all that, accounting for that in the equation. It is anything but passive. So that is one very, very large benefit of the DEXA, is that no matter your age, height, weight, sex, gender, experience with body composition analysis, you're essentially just laying there doing nothing, having the machine do the readout for you. Another benefit of the DEXA would be that there's an added bone mineral density component that's being measured. So if you are someone who maybe is at risk, has a family history of osteoporosis, osteopenia, maybe you're a woman getting into your later years and that is a concern for you, as it should be for all women, you can get a bone mineral density scan on top of that body fat analysis, which is a good point of reference, a good point of data to have for lifestyle intervention. Go and get your DEXA. Let's say your body fat percentage is at a reasonable amount. You're a 55-year-old woman and you go in there and it says your body fat percentage is 25%. It's a good number. Doing a good job, doing your physical activity, your nutrition is as a whole pretty good, but it gives you a very low bone mineral density reading compared to other women your age. That can inform a lifestyle intervention of perhaps some higher impact activity, some resistance training to slow that loss of bone mineral density over time. So an added valuable data point there, especially for women when they get over 40, 50, and beyond. Last but not least, it can offer a segmental, tough word there, offer a segmental body fat analysis. So it can tell you where your body fat is distributed. I think a lot of people will go crazy with this. They'll say, why is my body fat higher in my left leg versus my right leg? Largely not something that you can influence as a whole. But if the bone mineral density valued women as they get older, the segmental body fat analysis benefits men as they get older. Men, as they age, get a greater amount of body fat accumulating in the visceral depot. That's this area right here, what people traditionally call a beer gut. And that accumulation of visceral fat is associated with a number of metabolic disorders that are obesity-related comorbidities. So it seems, according to the research, that a large, or I should say a good word here, preponderance of body fat in that visceral depot can contribute to things like hyperlipidemia, dyslipidemia, hyperinsulinemia, elevated blood glucose, type 2 diabetes, and across pretty much all domains, a decrease in lifespan, an increase in risk of all-cause mortality. So DEXA offers quite a few benefits, and it's pretty easy to see why it's such a popular tool now. Purely passive, adds that bone mineral density component, has a low standard estimate of error, and can show you a segmental body fat analysis, which can inform some individuals on lifestyle changes that need to take place to decrease all-cause mortality. DEXA scans, when they originally came out, were the machine itself, hilariously expensive. But with all things that get popular, as the demand goes up, supply has also gone up. And you can get these things at a much more reasonable rate, but it's still not super common to find these everywhere. You're not going to walk into a Gold's Gym, LA Fitness, Crunch Fitness, and find a DEXA scan. They're still going to be using the traditional BIA, usually handheld or scale variations of that bioelectrical impedance, which we mentioned has a high standard estimate of error. So if you are looking for, once a year, twice a year to get a more accurate prediction of your body fat percentage, a DEXA scan is a good option. For the exam itself, it's important to know how the DEXA scan actually works, what a three-component model is, and what populations may benefit more than others from something like a DEXA scan, specifically elderly women and aging men who may have a large amount of fat in that visceral depot. Those are the big three things that you want to know on this slide on DEXA scans for the CISSN exam. Hope you have found that helpful. If you want, again, any more resources from the Gifted Academics team, CISSN prep resources, CSCS, and CPT, we do it all. Click the links down below and use the contact form on the website if you have any further questions. We will see you on the next one.